Happy New Year, idiots. Today I thought would be the perfect day to tackle my community post where I let you submit all of your hot takes regarding any topic. Just to reiterate, these are all in my opinion, and they might not agree with yours, but don't take it too seriously. This is all just about pop culture, so it's not even real. Also, if you submitted multiple takes under one of your comments, then I will tackle every single one of them, so don't worry. And as far as agreeing or disagreeing with them, I'll probably rate them on a 1 to 10 scale for how much I agree with them, but don't expect me to agree with every single thing that everyone submitted. So, you've been warned. Alright, now let's get down to business. Happy New Year. Alright, we got 4 takes from Punkymon. First up, 6'7" is a stupid meme that needs to die, and anyone who finds it funny unironically deserves the belt. Absolutely yes, I freaking hate this meme. 10 out of 10, no questions asked. Limp Bizkit is leagues better than Guns N' Roses in every conceivable way. No. I listen to a little bit of Limp Bizkit and I do not enjoy them at all. Apart from like songs like Break Stuff and Rollin', but that's about it. I mean, I don't think Guns N' Roses is too special and I think they're a little overrated, but come on, dude. Limp Bizkit is not like the next prophet of music or new metal or anything like that. This take gets like a 4 out of 10 for me. American Idiot is kind of overrated, the production isn't very good, and the Dookie Nimrod run is unquestionably better. That said, American Idiot is still the 4th best Green Day album. Okay, this one's kind of tricky because I'm a diehard American Idiot defender, so this will be biased in some way, maybe? But even then, I would never in a million years call this album overrated at all. Maybe that's just my love for it, but I think from a grand standpoint, I don't think so. Every song has its fan base, as I've mentioned before to other people, and I think the equal love that every song has by a certain amount of fans, I think that justifies it being like one of the best albums that Green Day ever put out. It's just consistently good, and I don't think they can get any better than that. Unless you like Dookie or Nimrod better, which I will understand. So for the take of American Idiot being overrated, I'm gonna have to probably give that a 0. Sorry, buddy. And I don't really see any problems with the production. I mean, if you find other productions on other albums better, then I get it. But that doesn't mean that this one is straight up bad, so I'll probably also give this take a 0. You're not doing well here, buddy. I will say that you are right about one thing. The Dookie Nimrod run is definitely better. American Idiot could have been a part of that run, but Warning was also released before American Idiot, and I don't think that album is as good as people say, thus killing any chance of having a perfect run up to American Idiot. But I do love Dookie, Insomniac, and Nimrod a lot, and them being the big 3 run for the 90s era, I think is definitely to be well respected, so 10 out of 10 rating for this take. Would I say it's the 4th best album, though? Well, I would of course say that it's at least top 3, if not number 1. So, there's that. But this is mainly an opinion-based take, so if you think it's the 4th best, then good for you, I guess. I at least think it should be in people's top 5, and then I'll respect your list. So, if you at least have it that high, I'll give this take around like let's say a safe 6 out of 10, and just leave it at that. Okay, from Sammy Fan, we got In Rainbows Gets Overrated. It's not terrible, but it's like top 5, not top 3. In terms of Radiohead, based on what I've listened to recently, I only listened to OK Computer, In Rainbows, Kid A, and The Bends. I would say that In Rainbows is definitely top 3 or top 2, by far. It's probably their most popular album, and it definitely has their best production besides OK Computer, so that probably gives it a few more points. So I don't know about this take, and I wouldn't call it overrated myself, so this gets like a 3 out of 10, unless you like other albums more. From Cyfix YouTube, we got Bedrock Edition is better than Java Edition for Minecraft. While Java has more features, Bedrock is just an easier playing experience. Wouldn't that just make Java Edition better because it has more stuff to do? I don't know, I don't have Bedrock Edition, so I can't really rate this one. Alright, from Liam Falconer, In Utero is a really good album, but it's incredibly overrated if you ask me. Nevermind is undeniably the best Nirvana album. Alright, Liam, I have some bad news for you, but I am not a Nirvana fan at all. I think they're the most overrated band of all time, and sometimes I think Kurt Cobain can be a little crazy. As for In Utero and Nevermind, I definitely would probably say Nevermind is a little bit better. I do like Come As You Are and Something in the Way, although for In Utero, I also do really like All Apologies. Would I say In Utero is more overrated than Nevermind, though? I don't know, I'm not a diehard Nirvana fan, and I think it's up to those people to decide. So, I'll just split this down the middle and give this take like a 5. Oh cool, we got a few interesting ones from Killer Drax, so let's do this. For his music take, The Velvet Underground is not good. I'm not really one who cares that much about The Velvet Underground, but I did look at a little bit of their music because I was just curious to see what the hell that banana is all about. The band's okay, they're not anything terrible, but I don't find them special in any way, shape, or form, and I think the frontman's vocals can get a little annoying, so I'll probably just give this take a 5 out of 10. For TV, The Middle is a horrible show, haven't seen it, can't rate it. For games, Fallout 76 is a good game. I heard Fallout's really good, but I haven't played it, so I can't rate it. For movies, I'll save the best one for last, but I have not seen Driving Miss Daisy, so I can't rate it. Now we have one of the hottest takes of the entire video, which is Jaws is a hideously overrated movie. Absolutely not. This movie is a complete masterpiece from start to finish. I don't think people fully understand how influential it is. Like, this movie made a ton of people upon release be absolutely deathly afraid to go in the water. Like, if you have that big of an impact, then you know you've done a very, very good horror movie. And also the characters. I don't want to get too into it, but Quint on the Orca has one of the best scenes in terms of character dialogue that a lot of people would sometimes overlook if you're not too deep into movies, but it's one of the most brilliantly written scenes with some incredible context behind it, and I won't spoil it because you just gotta hear it for yourself for how great it is. With all that said, this movie is a classic and is an absolute gem, has a ton of substance to it, and you absolutely need to watch it. It is not overrated at all, 0 out of 10 take. And speaking of horror, I was absolutely excited to see that the Night Shift commented on my hot takes post. This guy is one of my favorite horror YouTubers, and I have been buds ever since I interacted with him on his Q&A. Funny enough, this take is basically what I commented on his Q&A, and it's that Halloween 2018 has the best mask in the franchise as well as the best score in horror cinema. Halloween diehard fans would disagree, but I firmly stand on this. This is basically repeating the same take I had about the soundtrack, but I'll elaborate nonetheless. For those who don't know, I love and adore the Halloween franchise. I think Michael Myers is the greatest character written in all of horror history, and I think Halloween is probably the greatest horror movie ever. That being said, I also really love the Halloween 2018 sequel for two main reasons. And both of these reasons are perfectly explained by Night Shift. The mask is probably my favorite design in the entire franchise, and it's probably my favorite mask in horror history as well. I love how it's realistically weathered and beat up, and it has a little bit of that pretty eerie vibe going for it if you just look at it for long enough. The way it's worn by James Jude Courtney and the way he moves around with that mask, it is really freaking frightening. I even picked out this mask to dress up as Myers for 2 years in a row for Halloween, and I really enjoyed scaring people in my neighborhood. A lot of that is thanks to that mask. Now the soundtrack, oh boy, I absolutely love this thing. When I first heard the original theme, I loved it a lot, but then when I heard this version of the theme, it became my favorite theme song in all of horror. This is just freaking perfect. And that's not to discount the rest of the soundtrack. Every bit of the score that you hear in the movie absolutely lands for each scene that each song is used for. It is done flawlessly. Even if you have problems with the movie itself, you cannot deny how effective this soundtrack is at making you invested and frightened by the film. John Carpenter is truly a master of his craft, both in the studio working on the film and in the studio working on the music. I love both things equally as much, and it really makes me appreciate this sequel so much more than I originally did when I first saw it. Thank you again, Night Shift. This is my favorite take for the entire video. 100 out of 10. Best take ever. On to the great Gabriel Paiva, or as many like to call him, Based Gabe. First take we got is that 21st Century Breakdown is a top 3 Green Day album. I mean, kind of. I would say yes and no, depending on who you are. If you like some of their more refined production, I would say so. And it has a lot of good stuff on there that you can enjoy. But I don't think it holds a candle to the big 3 of Green Day, which is American Idiot, Nimrod, and Dookie. This is really just a preference thing. If you like it as a top 3 Green Day album, then by all means go for it. I personally don't think so, but I could understand why, so I'll give this a 7 out of 10 rating. Next up, we have the take that Bicycle Race by Queen is buns. I mean, I don't think it's very good. I think a lot of it sounds very weird, and a lot of stylistic choices just don't sit right with me. I think some of Freddie's vocals are good, but overall, this song could have been a lot better if they tried something else. I'm not a huge fan of this song very much, and I played it in a band once, and none of us liked playing it, so there you go. This is an 8 out of 10 take. Next we have the take that The Thing That Should Not Be is one of the best songs on Master of Puppets. I mean, to be fair, all of the Master of Puppets songs are freaking great. It is Metallica's best album by far, unless you do think Ride the Lightning is better, which I completely understand. So, to call everything on Master of Puppets to be one of the best, yeah, by all means go for it. 10 out of 10 take. The whole album is just perfect. Give Me One Good Reason is the best on Take Off Your Pants and Jacket by Blink-182. I think all of the songs are pretty good, but I will say I think it's probably the weakest of the entire album. I'm sorry. It's just by comparison, I think all of them sound better and they have more energy to them. So, while this take is pretty much based on your opinion, I do not really agree with this one. But since it's opinion based, I'll just split it down the middle and say 5 out of 10, just for your sake. Reckless Abandon by Blink-182 is overrated. No, it isn't. It's part of a really freaking good 3-track run off of Takeoff, which is Roller Coaster, Reckless Abandon, and Every Time I Look For You. And I think this is probably the strongest point of that 3-track run. It's often regarded as one of the best Blink songs in general, and it has the best use of guitar and best use of Tom's vocals on the album besides something like First Date or Stay Together for the Kids. But it's at least the best part of that 3-track run, and I really think it sounds incredible to hear it live, especially when they played it at Coachella when Blink reunited with Tom. I do agree with the sense that there are some songs that could be more likable than Reckless Abandon depending on your music taste, but to call it overrated is just flat out silly. So, I don't know, this is probably going to get a 1 out of 10 only because I can get if you like a song more than Reckless Abandon, but it's not overrated. 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge is better than The Black Parade. I think a lot of people know by now that The Black Parade is my favorite album of all time, so I would easily disagree with this 100%. I mean, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge has a lot of really good songs, mainly in the first half, and I know that's all of their biggest songs, but they're big for a reason, and you don't have to hate a song because it's popular. You can still like the song, it's really good. As long as that's the parameters you meet, I think you'll be fine with whatever song you like. That being said, I still think in terms of composition and how the music is done for the stories they tell, I think The Black Parade is MCR's crowning achievement by a landslide. I mean, I appreciate that there are story elements in 3 Cheers, but The Black Parade just does it so much better on a whole nother level. That cannot be ignored. So I'm going to have to give this one a 4 out of 10, and you're only getting points because I could see why someone would like this story a little bit better in 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily better than the Black Parade as a whole. On to Gabe's non-music takes. First off, I hate Colacao. Never heard of it. I can't rate that. Pizza with pineapple blows. I do think pineapple on pizza does not go together, so I'll give you like a 7 out of 10 because there are people who like it, and if it's your thing, then it's your thing. But for me personally, I don't like it at all. Ladybug this series is extremely overrated. Never seen it. Don't know what it's about. Can't rate it. Jessie is the best Toy Story character. I mean, if she's your favorite, then she's your favorite. I personally am a Buzz Lightyear guy myself, and he was my childhood hero before anything Star Wars, but yeah, I could see that. I will say that I think she peaked when she was introduced in Toy Story 2, where she had a big character moment, and then she sort of got moved to kind of a side character for 3 and 4, to where she didn't have as much of a role. She had her bits, but I think she could have done a lot more, and if she did, she could be one of the best characters to rival Woody and Buzz. But for now, she's there. I loved her in Toy Story 2, but I don't think she's better than either Woody or Buzz. Hell, I even like Zurg more than her. So, yeah. I'll give this like a 6 out of 10. Yeah, that's fair. Because I can get why she's your favorite, but I think other characters are better. So, yeah. On to 10.5 flight attendants. Hot Cheetos are overrated. I can't handle spicy stuff, so I would just say 6 out of 10, and I'll leave a few points away from a 10 in case if people actually do like them, which I can understand. The Wall by Pink Floyd is overrated. I know someone who is gonna get very freaking angry at this take. But, if you want my response to it, I don't think it's overrated at all. I'm not a huge Pink Floyd fan because I'm not really into psychedelic rock, but I think I had a better time listening to The Wall than I did with Dark Side of the Moon by far. It's a whole concept album just like The Black Parade and American Idiot, but I think the story is pretty unique for what it tries to do on its own, and I actually can get behind why people will enjoy it. I remember someone encouraged me to try listening to it again, and I like it a lot more than I originally did when I first heard it. So going back to it now, it's become one of my favorite 100 albums of all time. So, yeah, not overrated at all. I think it's one of the better albums in Pink Floyd's discography. Not that I dived into their discography much, but I would definitely say I can understand why someone will have this as his or her favorite album of all time, or in their top 10. So, yeah. As for being overrated, still, no, it's not. This is a 0 out of 10 take, I'm sorry. The King of Limbs by Radiohead is underrated. I listened to a little bit of this, and I think the way it was made and produced is really freaking weird. Like, if I were to get more into Pink Floyd, I would want to listen to more of their stuff that sounds like The Bends, OK Computer, and In Rainbows. I would probably not be a big fan of The King of Limbs if I were to listen to it multiple times, but if it's your style, then it's your style, and sure, go ahead and listen to it. I personally won't find myself listening to it very often, and with that, I don't know if I would call it under or overrated. Maybe underrated if you really like it, but maybe overrated if you think it's really weird or bad. So, if you want to consider those two mindsets, then I would just split the rating down the middle and give it a 5 out of 10. I don't know. The term rage bait should be banned. I mean, I think rage bait is a real thing, where people just try to do the worst takes possible just to piss people off when they don't really mean it. So it is a very real thing, and I think banning the word is just going to make people forget that people still do it. And they're going to get away with it if it's not looked at. I don't know, this is a weird PSA to just watch out for rage bait, so this is like a 0 out of 10 take. I don't think we should ban a word for that. We got more takes from the same guy, so let's go. 61 is greater than 67. What the hell does that mean? Breach by 21 Pilots is a top 25 album ever. I personally think it's one of my top 25 favorite albums of all time, but I know not everyone is going to have the same opinion. I know you would because you're a big fan of them as well, but a lot of people are going to be iffy about it. It's at least a top 3 21 Pilots album, but to call it a top 25 album, I'm a little shifty on. Because if you're a diehard fan like I am, then yeah, of course it's going to be. I think it's some of their best work yet. But for some people, I think it's going to be more spread out among like top 20 or top 30 lists. So, I don't know. It really depends on the person. So I think I'll play it safe and give this like an 8 out of 10, only because I really love this so much and it's my favorite album of the year. So props to you for that one. 3 Cheers is better than The Black Parade. I already covered this take with Gabriel, so look at my rating back there. In case if you didn't see it, it's a 4 out of 10. Thunderbolts is my favorite movie I have seen. This isn't really a take, it's more of an opinion on your part, which, okay, I'll still talk about it. Thunderbolts is a very interesting case for me. I originally did not have any hype for this movie because I didn't care about like half of the cast. The only ones I cared about really are Red Guardian, Bucky, and the US Agent, which were all pretty good in it, but it didn't do enough to wow me over. So I just waited for it to appear on Disney Plus and I watched it. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not anything spectacular. Like, they try to tackle mental health through the storytelling with Sentry and Bob, but it could have been a lot better, and there was more potential to it, but I don't think they ever reached that level. Also, they keep ragging on John Walker for no reason after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which they did him really freaking dirty in that show, and he's one of the best characters with a rational thought that you can get behind, and I think Disney tried to write him off too hard as a bad guy, which he's not. They definitely gave him a redemption arc after his one incident that I won't spoil, and he definitely deserves his own movie in my opinion. Red Guardian is fine. I think he's a little too comedic in some instance to where they make him the butt of a joke too much, but I think there's potential for him to be like one of the funniest characters in the entire MCU. As for everyone else, they're alright. I mean, you have Bucky, who's always good, but that's about it. I think this movie has a lot of missed opportunities, and I don't think it's even a top 10 film of this year alone. And in my opinion, if you think this is your favorite movie of the year, or if it's your favorite movie you've ever seen, you need to watch a lot more movies, buddy. But since this is one of the better movies of Phase 4 or 5 and onward, because let's be real, the MCU kind of sucks right now. I'll give this take like a 4, just to be nice. You need to watch more movies still. Finally, we're going to end the video with what I deem to be the most interesting hot take so far, and that comes from Crazy9. Never saw the hype for pop punk. While I do enjoy it more now, I've always seen it as a bit corny and just kind of lazy at times. This I can probably understand, because I'm not specifically bound to any genre of music. I will listen to anything of any background, and if I end up liking it, then I end up liking it. Just because there's one genre of music that sounds good, that doesn't mean every single thing from that genre is going to sound good. So it's pretty much the same case here. Because if you're trying to tackle a whole genre, you need to look at it with more skepticism. And I want to do that for this. Because there's a lot to love about pop punk, because there are some good ways that they use that style to where I love it. I mean, Blink-182 is my favorite band of all time, and they fit this genre perfectly. For it being corny, I can understand it because some of the music in it is just dumb. I mean, Blink-182 can sound dumb, but that's the whole point of the band, is that they're a toilet humor band. But there is some stuff out there that I just don't resonate with because it does sound a little stupid. And for the lazy portion, I can kind of see it because a lot of pop punk bands do try to go for the same style a little too hard. I mean, a lot of people like Good Charlotte, but I do have to admit that their style is a little bit too safe for me to enjoy. They just don't try hard enough, and it's just the most basic thing that like anybody can listen to if you're trying to break out someone into the pop punk genre. That's not bad, it just is what it is, and I don't think it's that special. So I really do freaking like this take. It is very interesting to me, and I've never seen somebody tackle it from this perspective for someone who has not been a pop punk fan. So I can see where you're coming from, and there are bits I like about pop punk, but I do have to admit that it has a lot of problems for the way it's presented and how it's stylized when comparing all of the bands to each other. So for this interesting take, while I don't hate pop punk, I do think I can see where you're coming from. This take gets like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 for me. Probably a 7 just because I like how unique this take is. And just like that, all of the hot takes under my posts have been covered. I really had fun doing these because a lot of you have presented very interesting things for me to discuss, and I'm happy to respond to any that people have in the future. So if you want to do this again, I'll be more than willing to, and until then, have a happy new year, have some fun, go party, don't go drinking if you're under 21, stay safe out there, and go watch Star Wars The Clone Wars. This is genuinely a really good show. See you around, guys.